And here's the Vegan's Almanac for today, the 16th of December, 2024. Today is the birthday of Margaret Cavendish, Duchess of Newcastle-upon-Tyne, born on this day in 1673. Margaret Cavendish was an English aristocrat, a prolific writer, and a scientist. She was also a vegetarian. Born Margaret Lucas, she became an attendant of Queen Henrietta Maria and traveled with her into exile in France, living for a time at the court of the young King Louis XIV. She became the second wife of William Cavendish, 1st Duke of Newcastle-upon-Tyne, in 1645, when he was a marquess. Cavendish was a poet, philosopher, writer of prose romances, essayist, and playwright who published under her own name at a time when most women writers published anonymously. Her writing addressed a number of topics, including gender, power, manners, scientific method, and animal protection. Her romance, The Blazing World, is one of the earliest examples of science fiction. Cavendish has been championed and criticized as a unique and groundbreaking woman writer. She rejected the Aristotelianism and mechanical philosophy of the 17th century. She criticized and engaged with the members of the Royal Society of London and the philosophers Thomas Hobbes, René Descartes, and Robert Boyle. Cavendish was the only known 17th century woman to publish numerous books on natural philosophy. She was an advocate for animals and an early opponent of animal testing. And today is also the birthday of William Cowherd, born on this day in 1763. William Cowherd was a Christian minister serving a congregation in the city of Salford, England, immediately west of Manchester. Cowherd was the founder of the Bible Christian Church, where he advocated and encouraged members to abstain from the eating of meat as a form of temperance. Cowherd believed that God inhabits every animal, and as such it is a sin to eat meat. His followers went on to form the Vegetarian Society. The health effects of a meat-free diet were unknown, and many feared they would be catastrophic. Cowherd was popular with the public because he provided free medical services, a lending library, and free vegetable soup. Much of Cowherd's novel social outlook was influenced by 18th century Swedish theologian Emanuel Swedenborg. Swedenborg taught that everything in the physical world has a spiritual value. And here's a portion of a poem for today, The Hunting of the Hare, by Margaret Cavendish, Duchess of Newcastle-upon-Tyne. The horns kept time, the men did shout for joy, and seemed most valiant, poor Wat, to destroy. Spurring their horses to a full career, swam rivers deep, leaped ditches without fear, endangered life and limbs, so fast they'd ride, only to see how patiently Wat died. At last the dogs so near his heels did get, that they their sharp teeth in his breech did set. Then tumbling down he fell, with weeping eyes, gave up his ghost, and thus poor Wat, he dies. Men whooping loud, such acclamations made, as if the devil they imprisoned had, when they did but a shiftless creature kill. To hunt there needs no valiant soldier's skill, but men do think that exercise and toil to keep their health is best, which makes most spoil. Thinking that food and nourishment so good, which doth proceed from others' flesh and blood, when they do lions, wolves, bears, tigers see to kill poor sheep, they say they cruel be. But for themselves, all creatures think too few, for luxury wish God would make more new. As if God did make creatures for man's meat, to give them life and sense for man to eat, or else for sport or recreation's sake. Destroy those lives that God saw good to make, making their stomachs graves, which full they fill with murdered bodies, which in sport they kill. Yet man doth think himself so gentle, mild, when of all creatures he's most cruel, wild, and is so proud, thinks only he shall live, that God, a godlike nature, did him give, that all creatures for his sake alone were made, for him to tyrannize upon. From Margaret Cavendish's poem, The Hunting of the Hare. This has been the Vegan's Almanac with the reminder that a godlike nature does not make a sport of taking innocent life.